Westside Decorating Center. Good morning to you on a Monday. And believe it or not, the final week of July already. My goodness. I'm Art Lewis. Nice to have you with us. This hour, open phones, 989-752-6111, the number to put you in touch with us. And next hour, we have a doubleheader. We'll be chatting with State Representative Bill G. Schuette in the first segment. And then we will move on in the second segment to learn about what Dow Credit Union is up to and some things coming up. And then at 11 o'clock, the YMCA of Saginaw. We'll be chatting with Valentina Gonzalez from the Saginaw Y. Back to school will be the subject of her thoughts. So that's what's ahead this morning. But this hour, as I mentioned, open phones, whatever's on your mind, you can give us a call. We'll chat about it this morning. In the meantime, a couple of things I pulled out to chat about. First of all, I know if you've been following the news, you heard that the President and the European Union reached a trade deal. It would appear, at least from a distance anyway, that the President's strategy on tariffs is bearing fruit. This latest deal between the President and the European Union is a huge one because the European Union represents 27 countries. We've also had deals with Japan and others, and there are more to come. He had set a deadline of August 1st for new tariffs to go in to those countries not in agreement with us. But we'll see what happens. And, when all is said and done, if most of the world comes to the table and balances the books a little bit, well, then it's a success. And it was interesting to hear Ursula von der Leyen, she's the EU president, admit up front that there was an imbalance in trade, and that they think now that they've corrected that. So that's pretty impressive. We'll watch and see what happens, like everything else. To the phones we go. We begin with Dave in Bay City. Dave, good morning.
Well, good morning, Art. It's a beautiful day.
'Tis indeed.
Indeed. Hey, and I am super stoked to hear that you're going to have Bill G. Schuette on. This is a guy that people need to pay attention to.
Because?
He is doing he's doing some awesome stuff in the state legislature, namely the Foreign Influence Protection Plan. Are you familiar with that, Art?
Vaguely, very vaguely.
Get him to talk about some specifics because, a lot of people have heard about the Chinese students, actually spies, that were caught with fusarium head blight. Get your egg folks on that one. If that was released into the thumb of Michigan, it would have been devastating. Then there were Chinese students, actually spies, caught with roundworms, put that into a herd of hogs. And then there were the 4 Chinese students last summer. Those were just tourists at Camp Grayling taking pictures. Yeah, right. And then the cozy relationship this Whitmer administration has had with China, the Goshen battery plant, deal after deal after deal with Chinese interests. It's crazy. This has to be dealt with. There's a lot more stuff that Bill is doing, but he is a guy of serious substance. The intelligence, the national intelligence background that he has. So, he's the guy that can deal with these Chinese threats and a lot of other things. So I will be listening with great interest.
Yeah, I'm looking at his sites now, and I don't see him mentioning that either. It's interesting. I'll ask.
Well, there's so much. All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now. All right. Yeah, I mean, listen, there is concern throughout the country about the influence of the Chinese, how much land they have, where that land is, because some of it is right around military bases. So, I mean, if there's an effort to limit that influence, more power to him. Well, I'll have to ask Bill about it, though. Meantime, line's open for you. So as I was saying about the tariffs, it would appear anyway that countries are lining up to come to the table, that they've come to the realization, and it's an important realization, that Trump, despite his ups and downs, despite putting on tariffs, taking off tariffs, delaying tariffs, they've come to the realization he's serious about it. And when the European Union sits down, that's one of the big apples to fall off the tree. Now, they didn't get everything they wanted. The deal includes a 15% tariff on most European exports to the U.S. They wanted 10%. They got 15%, but that's better than the 30% Trump threatened to impose if they didn't come to the table. The agreement also includes $600 billion in EU investments in the U.S. And the big one, I think one of the big ones, is the purchase of $750 billion worth of U.S. energy, because that will replace their purchase of energy from Russia. So that one is a done deal. And we move on to the next country in line. We'll see who that is. We have a deal with Japan now. The big one, and the one that would be the hardest to really solidify, will be China. That will be the toughest. But if we can sit down, and the president thinks that he can sit down with President Xi and come to an agreement, well, the question is, will the Chinese honor it in the long run? They don't have a history of doing that very well. Time will tell. To watch and see what happens. There's Scott in Saginaw. Scott, good morning.
Hey, morning, Art. I think I got a bad connection with you. Can you hear me?
Yep, got you good.
Oh, all right. Well, I have trouble hearing you, but I'll get on with it. I got a few things. I find it quite amazing that in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, we're hearing more from the Democratic Party about the Epstein files than we did the entire 4 years that Joe Biden was in office.
Yeah. Well, it's a distraction.
You know, what I find amazing about what the media is misleading the people with is now they're saying, well, there's new evidence where there's birthday cards and videos. Well, where was all this evidence in the Mueller investigation? Where was all this evidence when Trump was being accused of rape? You know, so it's just I think the scary thing is it just goes once again that these Democrats just blindly follow what mainstream media tells them. It's, oh, no, Barack Obama, he's a saint. He did no wrong. It's still Donald Trump. And we'll probably get Carl calling, and he will tell us that Donald Trump still colluded with Russia. And it's just sad that these people just blindly follow the narrative from this media.
Well, I got to add, I mean, is it who's following who? Why do you think the media is leading it?
Well, the media's been hiding it.
You're not suggesting the Democrats are leading it and the media has chosen not to tell us about it? Because that's the way I see it. I don't see the media leading it. I see the media as a player.
Well, the media colludes with the whole thing on it. I mean, if you go back to the whole Russian collusion thing, soon as James Comey leaked the fake dossier, the media got a story of it, and then they were able to play a story. And then the FBI said, well,
right, okay, well, that's not the media. That's not the media leading, is it?
Yes, it is. Because the media, if they would have actually done their due diligence, to do the research, they would have found that there's actually no evidence behind what Trump is being accused of.
I didn't say they did it. I didn't say they did it the right way. I just said they didn't lead it. Comer released it. The media picked up on it and ran with it.
Well, but if they
that's not leading. That's following.
Well, yeah,
they're not making the news. They decide what they're going to talk about. But the party is making the decisions, both sides. I mean, Republicans do the same thing. Republicans put out the rhetoric, and the media decides what they want to follow. And that happens on both sides. That's the nature of the beast.
Well, let's look. What was it? The Washington Post just came out with a birthday card or something that supposedly Donald Trump sent to Epstein. Who led that? The FBI or the media? The media did. That's why they're being sued right now for $36 million again for giving false information.
No, you see, you're missing something.
They are culprit.
You're missing something. Where did they get
nothing?
Oh, yeah, you are. Where'd they get it from? They didn't write the card. They didn't make it up. Well, if you don't know, how can you accuse them?
Where did they get it from, Art?
That's what I'm asking you. That's what I'm asking you. Because you're making it sound like they created it.
Well, apparently they did, Art, because the FBI don't have it. There's no documents of it anywhere. The only people that seem to have it
they must have.
Murdoch.
Somebody released it. Somebody said we have it, and they ran with it.
Just like they did when the person came forward. Just like they said when Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh was running for justice.
Yeah, I know.
He was drugging hundreds of girls. I seen him do it. These dirty Democrats will do and say anything. That's why this evidence was not brought forth 4 years ago.
Got it.
It's coming forward now.
All right.
Yeah, where's your proof that it's true?
But see, I don't speculate. That's the difference. I know how the media works. I've been in it for a long, long, long time.
Right, and they should have to verify their story.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But if they don't, that's poor journalism. But it doesn't mean they created it out of thin air. It means they picked it up from somebody and didn't check it out. Or it fit, or I'll give you this: it fit their narrative. How's that?
Listen, we know that the media is playing the town crier. So if you go to them and you give them false information and they run with it, you know exactly what the media is going to do. They're going to.
That's fine. They didn't. But you went to them. You gave them. You just said so yourself. Somebody gave them the information. If they didn't check it out, that's bad news. But the fact is, they didn't sit in their office and say, "Let's create this and talk about it."
What do you mean they didn't sit in an office?
You just said somebody gave it to them. Oh, never mind.
Listen,
we
know that Barack Obama sat in an office and said, "Let's create a false narrative about Donald Trump." So you don't think that the news article can't be fake? Come on.
Wait. You see, you just did it again. You just proved my point again. Barack Obama said, you just proved my point again, that somebody creates it and the news media runs with it because it fits their narrative.
You said they're not sitting in a back room creating this. And I said Barack Obama and his cronies sat in a back room and came up with the false narrative.
Yeah, right. So there you go. They created it. You just admitted it again.
So you're telling me that the
you're not understanding. You're not understanding what I'm saying. You want to say the media created it. The media did not create it, but they ran with it without checking it. I'll give you that. All right, I got to take a break, Scott. All right, buddy.
If I tell you one thing, I tell it to you. If you tell the public, you're running with the story.
Yeah,
you open the door because you're telling hundreds of people.
Where did I get the information from again?
From one person that.
Wait! Somebody gave me the information.
Right.
Now, if I don't check it out, I'm bad. If I don't check it out, I'm bad. But anyway, you've told the story. Somebody outside the media initiated it.
Okay, all right. I come to you because you own the media head, and I say let's come up with a false narrative about Donald Trump. You say okay, let's do it.
Well, that's not what you said. That's not what you've been talking about. You didn't say they go to the media and sit down with the media and say let's create a story. That's not what you said, and that's not what happens.
You know that they do it every night.
All right,
stories.
All right, Scott.
Good day.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
In an emergency, when...
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. Back to the phones. Carl's in Saginaw. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Art. Are you keeping cool?
Yeah, it's air conditioned in here. From that standpoint.
Yes. I'm actually waiting for a phone call from the air conditioning company right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you disappear, I'll know it came in.
Yes, because that'll be an important call.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, but the problem is, even if he comes today, we have a big old house, and once it gets warm, it's almost impossible to bring it back down. You just have to wait. You have to cool it before it gets warm.
Yeah, well, what you do is you turn it on full blast and you go out to dinner in an air-conditioned restaurant.
Yeah, I tried. It just... But anyway, Art, you were talking about tariffs earlier.
Yep.
For years, I've been saying we should raise taxes on corporations, and all I heard, like for a million times was, if you tax corporations, they're just going to pass those taxes on to the consumers.
Yeah.
How many times corporations don't pay taxes?
People do.
How many times did I hear that?
Yeah, every time. Every
so now
time.
we've got these tariffs, like a 15% tariff on European goods.
Yep.
Now, a tariff is a tax.
Yep.
That's a tax paid by the corporations that import these products.
Yep.
Now, but all I'm hearing on the news right now is, no, the companies now, they're going to eat these tariffs. They're not gonna pass them along.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Some, depending on the size of the tariff, you have to remember, these tariffs that are being talked about are not new. There's already tariffs. It's a percentage increase, but it's not a new tariff. So, maybe they were paying 8% and they're paying 10, whatever it is. The reality is, like everything else in life, it's going to go up in cost. Eventually, we all pay for it. Nobody else does.
Yes.
Period. That's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hear a lot of people saying, no, these tariffs, no, the companies are not going to pass them along.
Well,
somehow they're going to eat these taxes. Even though they never did before.
Depends how much it is. I mean, if it's a small percentage increase, they might. The other side about the tariffs is how much business, theoretically, at least in paper, it's bringing to the U.S. I mean, if the EU is going to send us $600 billion in investment and buy $750 billion worth of energy and not buy it from Russia, that's plus. That's a win.
Yes, but will that $750 billion, if that is sold to Europe, what does that do to the supply and demand for energy in this company?
If we have enough, it won't. If we have enough, it won't do anything.
Won't do anything.
No, we're already. Let's face it, we're already selling energy overseas. This is not new.
Yes, but this would be a big increase. You just said it's a big.
Well, it's a big increase for the EU.
Yeah. Well, it just seems, there's the laws of supply and demand. There's a finite supply and there's a elastic demand, actually. But it just seems, with tariffs and something like this, that's not going to make prices go down for the American consumer. That was one of the main reasons I think that Trump won in the election, because he promised to bring prices down.
You're absolutely right about that, and he's going to have to. Listen. I mean, here's the thing, though.
Look at our gas prices now. I mean, so I remember having a discussion with you, Art. You said, energy prices are going to go down, transportation costs are going to go down, so that's going to mean like food is going to be cheaper because the transportation is going to be less.
Well, some food has come down, but nothing is perfect, and I'm granting you that. It hasn't come down like everybody thought it would, but he's still got time to work on it, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I've said this before, and you've heard me say this. I figure he's got till next spring to make it good on his promises, because after that we're into the election mode and the midterms. So that's how much time he has to prove himself. So we'll see.
Well, I
Come April, we'll have this discussion again.
Yeah, I just, the things he's doing,
Right.
it doesn't seem like lowering prices is a priority for all the things he's focusing on right now.
No, he'd like to see manufacturing come back to the United States, and I would too. Hopefully some of this will.
I heard that there's 200,000 manufacturing jobs in the U.S. right now that are empty, looking for workers.
Yeah, there's going to be more around
So-
here. We
I
could
know,
be
but
we could be
they're
leading the
already-
state
they're
in that
already having
category.
They're having trouble filling the jobs we have in manufacturing right now.
Yeah, they'll work it out. Always have. We'll
Okay.
figure it out. All right, got to run, Carl. Talk to you later. Bye-bye now.
Thanks.
Frank's Great Outdoors is turning 80.
All right, back with you here on the Art Lewis Show, and Mark is in Prescott. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
Good.
Hey, a lot of what Scott was saying, I want to just touch on that for a little bit, was the networks that hire disgraced individuals to be contributors to their network. James Comey, John Brennan, and Andrew McCabe all were fired from their positions, but yet can still run a narrative on a narrative news network to promote their propaganda and not be held accountable. And then they spew, the journalists that are on there just parrot what they said on a 24-hour news cycle. The problem that I have is they should not hire people that have been fired as contributors to promote their news net or their narrative, because all it does is it divides people, because people support them and what they've done for their work.
Well,
like FBI
let's have an understanding of who gets hired. They're not hired as journalists.
contributors.
They're hired as analysts, opinion makers, and that's a whole nother story. That's not reporting news. That's giving their opinion, which is, if you watch cable news, most of the day is what it is. They have these talking head panels, and it's all opinion. It's not news, it's opinion. Now, some of it's based on news, but it's opinion. I mean, there's a difference. It's like, and I've said this many times, this show that we're talking on right now is not a news program. It's an opinion show. You're offering up your opinion. I offer up my opinion. That is different than me saying, this is just what happened.
Yeah, but when a news network puts in their headline the most trusted news source,
Well, they can say what they want. They can say what they want.
Okay, so you as a tuner tunes into somebody, you're getting trusted news that 51 former intelligence agents believe the Russian collusion, but it was just a narrative that they were coerced into signing, saying that there was, through the FISA warrant, that
How is
there
that?
was
How is
Russia
that
collusion.
How is that
Because
different
they
from?
can
How is
put that
that
on
different? How is that different from any company you deal with saying, "We're number one. We are the best"? How's that
No,
different?
I don't think you're following what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm
After
following
they get
what
the
you're saying.
51
You just have to
after they
understand
get
what I'm
intelligence
saying.
agents to sign-
I understand, but just let me finish. Then you get on the news network, the trusted news network, and you put out there from James Comey that there was Russia collusion. Even 51 former intelligence agents signed on to it.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what I'm talking about, being not truthful, not honest, and they should not have people on there that put that type of narrative driven to get one individual. It has nothing to do with the daily.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Just not to play the devil's advocate.
Sure. Yeah.
Should Fox do the same thing with Republicans?
Absolutely. You should not have narrative news driven that's false claims. There's been many a times a false narrative, like Andrew McCabe, who was fired. He was supposed to have everything taken away, but he got that back, and he's still on MSNBC putting out propaganda, which is wrong. That's what I'm saying is wrong. They can hire journalists. I have no problem with journalists as long as they can back and support their findings.
Well,
it's when they don't support their findings and they run with it, and then the other journalists pick it up and run with it. That's what's wrong, because there's no accountability for that.
Well, here's my issue with it. I don't have a problem with them hiring those people as long as they label them correctly.
Okay.
In other words,
So-
don't tell me they're a journalist. You could tell me they're an analyst. You could tell me they're an opinion maker. I'll buy that. And I don't have to listen to them. I don't have to listen to them.
Should they go with formerly fired, disgraced as their headline before they get on the program?
No, because people get fired and disgraced for lots of reasons.
They lie to the American people.
You have to be honest with what their role is in presenting opinion in the news. It has to be labeled. In my opinion, it has to be labeled that way. In the old days of newspapers, if you wanted the opinion, you went to the editorial page. You didn't get it in the news because they just presented the news, even though their banner may have been the so-and-so Republican or the so-and-so Democrat. You know that the news didn't have content that would label it one way or another. If you wanted their opinion, you went to the editorial page. That's been blurred, particularly in this electronic age, and even more so now with social media.
Yeah. Well, I just think if people are under investigation, they shouldn't be used network platforms to put out their side of their story.
It's the choice the network makes. And listen, look at these networks. You know, we're sitting here talking about these networks. Their ratings are in the tank. They're losing audience day after day, so let them do it, because they're going to keep losing audience. If they're not smart enough to see they're down the wrong path, that's their problem.
Well, they did with Colbert. They lost $40 million plus his salary of $16. So at some point in time, there is a line in the sun, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And the audience controls that line.
Yeah.
All right.
All righty, sir.
Got to run. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll get to Maria and Saginaw when we return. Let me take a moment to talk about my friends at McDonald Ford and Quick Lane Freeland. You know, it's allergy season. They've not been good. The allergies have really been bad. And McDonald Ford doesn't want to see you suffer in your car. And their folks at Quick Lane Freeland have a product. And that product is called Frigifresh. Now, what it is, it's a hospital-grade disinfectant, and they place it in your air conditioning system. Here's more about it from John at Quick Lane.
Frigifresh. Hi.
Hop in, Quick Lane Freeland, get Frigifresh today. While you're there, take a look at the lineup of Ford cars at McDonald Ford, ready to put you in the seat of the car of your dreams. Quick Lane Freeland and McDonald Ford, two names that stand ready to help you with all your automotive needs. Stop in today.
Calling all golfers, need one.
It's Monday morning of the final week of July, and Maria is with us in Saginaw. Maria, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lewis. Thank you for taking my call. I have been watching this catchy TV channel, and they show Car 54, Where Are You? And at the end, it was filmed in the Bronx.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering, when you were a kid, did you see any celebrities or anything like that when you were growing up there?
Well,
with everything going on?
I did, but it's not because I ran into them in the street. I was a member of a group called the NBC Teen Workshop, and we used to meet in the RCA building, and we had a number of major names come in and talk to us about the business over those years. And what's interesting about Car 54, the 54 refers to the precinct number. I lived in the 53rd police precinct, not the 54th, the 53rd.
Oh, wow.
But Yeah, I used to run into a few. We had